We start our routine by doing what we call ball slaps. Put a basketball in one hand and then slap it over to your other hand quickly, and do this repeatedly as quick as possible. The next thing we do is what we call finger pads. In this drill, we keep the arms straight, the eyes up, and the basketball on the finger pads of our hands. We move it from one level to the next, trying to change the eye level of our athletes while reinforcing that they keep their eyes up and focus down the floor. The next thing we move into are doing circles. There are 4 types of circles: head, waist, legs, and corkscrew. The first 3, you just circle the ball around whatever level the coach desires. In the last one, the corkscrew, we have our athletes do 5 around each level on the way up in one direction and 5 on each level coming down in the other direction. Next, we move into our figure 8 sequence. We do figure 8s with no dribble, which means the same thing as circles except you go in a figure 8 around your legs. We'll go inside out and then outside in. The next thing we will do is we will go figure 8 with the dribble, reinforcing with all the figure 8 drills to keep finger pad control. When we go figure 8 with the dribble, we want our athletes to make several low, quick little dribbles while keeping finger pad control of the basketball, keeping their eyes up and their backsides down. After we complete our figure 8 sequence, we then move into what we call spider dribble. The athlete stands with their legs spread apart, drop the ball in front of you, now hit it with your right hand, then your left hand, then reach behind and hit it with your right hand and then the left hand. You do this alternating front to back while keeping the basketball centered between your legs, eyes up, and your backside down. Next, we move on to doing pretzel drop. Take the basketball, hold it between your legs with your right hand in front and your left hand in back. You drop the ball, then switch the positions of your hands quickly as to catch the ball before it hits the floor. And then you just repeat. Next, we have what we call confidence bounce. Have your players stand with their feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Hold the basketball out in front with both hands, and then bounce it between your legs, then catch the ball behind you. Now bounce the ball back to the front and catch it in front. Do this as quickly as you can with a forceful dribble. Next, we're going to discuss some 2 basketball ball handling drills. The first one we have is low, medium, and high stationary dribble. You have both balls at the same height. Start as low as you can, dribble a bit higher to the waist, and then even higher up to the shoulders, and alternate on the coach's call. The next one we have is alternating low, medium, and high stationary dribble. While one ball is hitting the floor, the other ball is up. You should work this at all 3 levels again, at the knee level, the waist level, and the shoulder level, and do so on the coach's discretion or call. Next, we have the toss-up dribble. To start with one ball in each hand, bounce the ball with the right hand and toss the ball up in the air with the left. It is a constant dribble and tossing motion. Then dribble with your left hand and toss the ball up with your right hand and repeat the process. Now we're going to talk about our 3 dribble change of direction. The first time, we look to make a good low crossover while pushing off our outside foot and making a good low crossover below the knees. The second trip we look to do is going between the legs. It's a good push through and explosive change of direction. On the third trip, we then go behind the back, keeping the basketball low and wrapping it around below our backside. The next one we do is called the reverse pivot dribble. We want to keep the ball in that same hand and pull it through as to not leave the ball out for the defensive player to knock it away. A more advanced one is what we call BBC, where we go behind the back between the legs and cross over. We call this drill semicircle or half moon passing. The duration of this drill is approximately 5 minutes and is applicable to all grade levels. For this drill, you need 5 to 7 players in a group. One passer and the other players are spaced out around the passer in a semicircle. You also need 2 basketballs for this drill. The passer will have one and one of the other players will have the other. The passer cannot throw the ball back to the player who just passed him the ball, and he cannot just go down the line in a straight line manner. To rotate into this drill, you can do it by rotating clockwise or counterclockwise without skipping a beat. Try to use either the bounce pass, chest pass, or over the head pass. Decide which one you would like to focus on for each practice. Go until everyone is rotated into the drill and reinforce fundamental passing skills. We call this drill horseshoe shooting. Start with 2 equal lines under the basket, 2 basketballs in each line. The first player in one of the lines should start without a basketball. He will be the first shooter. He will wrap around to the other side of the basket and receive a pass from the first man in the other line. He will then shoot a jump shot and go to the end of the line on the side of the basket he has shot from. The guy who had made the pass will then wrap around to the other side of the basket and receive a pass and shoot a jump shot. Repeat this process and begin to move further from the basket. The drill should end at the fringe of your team's shooting range. Make sure to reinforce proper shooting technique and run this drill for a certain period of time, roughly 3 to 5 minutes. We call this drill across the lane shooting. Start with 2 equal lines if possible, on each sideline about free throw line high. Place 3 to 4 basketballs in one of the lines. That will be the passing line. Have the first player without a ball catch a pass from the passing line and take a jump shot. The shooter will rebound his own shot and then switches lines. The passer should make a good pass to the shooting pocket and then switches to the shooting line. Run a sequence similar to this. First 2 times, catch and shoot. The next time, catch, shot fake, shoot a right-handed layup. Catch, shot fake, shoot a left-handed layup, and then switch sides of the floor and repeat the sequence. This next drill that's being demonstrated is what we call three-man shooting. You have three players and two basketballs at a basket. The man without the ball is always the next shooter. Shooter one takes a shot, rebounds his own, and then passes it to the man without the basketball, shooter three. Shooter two takes a shot, rebounds his own, and passes it to shooter one. This repeats for a designated amount of time, usually 1 minute per variation. Your variations can be things such as catch and shoot, shot fake, one dribble pull-up jumper, shot fake, two dribbles with a layup finish, either a run-through layup or a power jump stop layup. Reinforce proper shooting technique and remind the athletes to sprint to their next spot and receive the ball ready to shoot it. Remind the men passing the basketball to hit the shooter in the shooting pocket so that he may catch and shoot in a quick motion. This drill we call five-man weave with 3-on-2 back. The group completes a five-man weave where you pass and go behind two. The last passer and the man shooting the layup will be back on defense. The other three men attack the defense, staying wide and keeping the floor spread. Should try to score with one or two passes. Defensively, your calls are, I got ball, that's for the top man, and I got first pass for the bottom man. Reinforce good spacing and good fundamental techniques. We call this drill 2.5 cycles. It's our transition drill, and we run it for 5 minutes almost every day in practice. The drill starts first by the one man pushing the ball up the floor on the dribble and scoring a layup. The second trip, our two man is hit on the wing for a jump shot. Try to keep it at a distance that is applicable to your player skill level. The third trip, we kick it ahead to the three man on the left side of the floor for a layup. On the fourth trip, we hit the four man who is trailing the play. He catches, makes a shot fake, and then looks to attack the basket off the bounce. On the final trip, we kick it ahead to our five man who is running the basket for a layup. The scoring in this drill is 1 point for every shot. On a perfect cycle, which means all shots were made, there's a 5-point bonus added. We call this drill victory drill. This is an offensive and defensive transition drill. You need roughly 12 guys to run this, and you want to break into two competitively balanced teams. One team in a dark colored jersey, one team in a light colored jersey. You can either place two cones on the floor halfway between the sideline and the jump circle, or you can place one chair or one cone in the center of the jump circle. It starts with one team going 3-on-2 and a trail defender entering the drill once the offensive team has crossed half court. Once the possession is terminated, the three defensive players will attack the other team on the under end of the floor, and the next defensive guy on the other team will enter by running around the chair once the offensive team has crossed half court. The trail defender must not enter play until the three offensive players cross half court. Be sure to reinforce this drill. Work on communication, floor spacing, and attacking the basket offensively and protecting the basket defensively. This is 3-2-1 and done. This is a very physical and competitive rebounding drill. This is a team rebounding drill, so you'll want to have at least 4 to 5 players on each team. Try to split the teams into 2 competitively balanced groups. The defensive team must secure 3 consecutive rebounds. If they give up 1 offensive rebound, they start over. They must then secure 2 consecutive rebounds and finally 1 defensive rebound before they are able to go to offense. The other team then must go, and when they finish, the drill is completed. Start the 5 offensive players around the perimeter. Start the 5 defensive players in the paint, lined up in single file on midline. The coach will pass the basketball to one of the offensive players on the perimeter who shoots the ball, then the drill is on. It is live. If the offense gets the ball or the rebound, they play it out by running offense and looking to score. Anytime the offense gets the board, the defensive team must start over, whether they are at 3, 2, or 1. The offensive team can run a set or continuity if they secure the rebound. The defense should box out a different offensive player each time. This works on communication. The variation to this drill can be that you have the offensive players mill around or move before the ball is passed in. We call this drill continuous closeouts. Start with 4 to 5 players on the perimeter and 4 to 5 players lined up under the basket. All perimeter offensive players will shoot ghost jump shots or simulated jump shots. Defensively, we want to let the shooter land and then box out. The first defensive player begins by doing foot fire, and on the whistle, he closes out and boxes out the first offensive player. As he is beginning, the second defensive player begins foot fire and waits for the first player to return to the middle of the paint. On the whistle, player 1 closes out on offensive player 2, and defensive player 2 closes out on offensive player 1. Player 3 is now doing foot fire in the middle of the paint. Repeat until all 4 to 5 players have closed out and boxed out each offensive player. This is a team layup drill that we call Husker layups. The duration of this drill is 4 minutes. We try to go 2 minutes per side. It is a continuous layup drill where the person who passes the ball follows his pass. If you watch in the video, you'll notice the man who passes the ball goes to the next line ahead, and the last man to pass the ball to the player shooting the layup will be the rebounder, and then the guy shooting the layup going the other direction. We call this drill defensive scramble. It's a 4-on-4 drill. You start with 4 offensive players on the baseline and 4 defensive players free throw line extended. The coach will pass the ball to one of the offensive players on the baseline to start the drill. The player who is guarding the man who receives the pass must sprint and touch the baseline. The offensive team attacks 4-on-3, running their transition minus the trail man. The 3 defenders form a triangle, always guarding the ball and protecting basket. Defensively, the goal is to make the offense settle for making multiple passes or shooting a quick jumper. The trail defender, or the man who touched the baseline, should sprint back and match up with the man furthest away from the ball. Once both teams are at full strength, play until the possession is terminated. Defensively, focus on good shell drill principles. Offensively, focus on good cutting and screening. This is our circle motion continuity offense. To start, the point guard enters the ball to a wing. The point guard then screens away. The backside guard makes a butt cut off the point guard and cuts through the lane to the opposite post looking for the ball. Now a triangle has been formed on that side of the floor. To reverse the ball, swing it to the man at the point. The backside guard makes a V cut and pops out. Now the ball is on the backside wing. The bottom man sets a flex screen for the man who is in the corner of the triangle. The point man and wing then set a jam down screen for the guy who set the flex screen. The flex screener comes off the jam down screen and looks for the shot or the reversal pass. The inside man of the jam down screen pops to the outside to become the wing. The outside screener goes to the low block. Now the ball is back in the starting position and the process is repeated. If the ball goes to the other side, the butt cut, jam down, and flex cut are all run on the other side of the floor. Spacing and patience with the ball are key. Make hard cuts, set physical screens, and each man needs to know each spot. This is our shell drill, and we start by doing just basic positioning. We work on the following calls: ball, when you are guarding the guy who has the basketball; deny, when you're 1 pass away; help, when you're 2 passes away; and basket, when you're 3 passes away on the back side. If the man has lost his dribble, we call dead, and when your man shoots, we call shot. If your man is screening another player, we work on calling pick, pick, pick. We want to work on positioning help side, deny, backside, and basket position when we do basic positioning. All 4 players will rotate to all 4 spots to work on their positioning from those 4 different locations on the floor. Once they've rotated through, the other group goes from offense to defense. Next in shell drill, we do what is called front the cutter. This is when your man passes the ball to the wing. We want to jump to the ball, bump the cutter, and force him to go away from the ball. We never want to let the offensive player make a face cut. Use a simple rotation on this drill and work on defending the give and go cuts. Next, we have what we call guard to guard, or defending the screen. We want to get off to the ball. If your man is setting the screen, you sink to the middle of the paint in help side position, letting your teammate know he is going to get picked. You want to help him through the screen up the lane. The man guarding the man cutting up the lane should pop the inside shoulder of the screener with the denial hand. Use a continuous rotation to work on defending the screen. Once the ball is passed guard to guard, a down screen should be set. One other thing we introduce into our shell drill is called take the charge. This is to simulate the rotation when a man gets beat on the baseline dribble. The man in basket position steps over outside the lane to take the charge. The offensive player taps the charge taker in the chest with the ball and he simulates taking the charge. Fall to the floor and pop back up and get back into position. Backside help man drops to the basket and the other two perimeter defenders do what we call squeeze the paint. Next, I want to talk a little bit about making basic post moves. The first one is a drop step to the baseline. We make a good hard shoulder fake to the middle and make a good drop step and low bounce between the legs to the basket. The second one is making a drop step and shooting a jump hook to the middle. Again, we play off a shoulder fake, a good drop, a low bounce, and a quick high finish to the basket. The next one is just the basic turnaround jump shot. You want to catch low, square, find the target, elevate, and shoot the basketball. We'll do the same thing going and turning to the baseline. We want to use the window when we turn to the baseline for that jump shot. The last post move is what we call a step throw. We show the ball on a shot to the middle and we step through to the basket. We repeat this process on the other side of the basket and usually have our post players making anywhere from 2 to 5 reps on each post move just to refine and learn how to play from one post move to the next.